Hey, I wanted to make a video that's inspired by a physics quote that I saw in a book that I read yesterday. And the quote was, "An object at room temperature produces infrared radiation. Heated objects will heat other objects." And I know that global warming is obviously a very pressing concern this day and age, with all of the greenhouse gases and everything that's warming the planet, melting the glaciers, and just making everything hotter. I thought that this was kind of an interesting notion that, and I just made a video on reducing the amount of things that you have, and of course I'm not a physicist, like I said. In that video, I'm not a physicist. I do not actually know what I'm talking about. I'm just kind of extrapolating, perhaps unfairly, from this quote. But and I want to be corrected if I'm wrong, but I feel like it kind of goes towards what we all know already, is to reduce, reuse, recycle, reduce the amount of resources that we need, be mindful and manage those to the best of our ability. But it kind of got me thinking, because it was actually in relationship to heating up of objects with a lamp, because the waves and the particles of the light can heat objects in its vicinity. And so I was kind of thinking about that, and I started thinking about the materials that we have and we've been using in building and things. And I know that I have kind of favored like metals in the past. I just thought they were so cool. They were very rustic, and they obviously have a lot of pros in the use for home decor and home building, because they are very strong and they're very versatile, and obviously they can combat a lot of the forces. And now this is the thing. I did read that obviously, that when you touch something metal that's been out in the sun, it's hot. You just know that. But I did read online that using metal in buildings will actually help reflect the light, reflect the heat, and so it will not in fact go inside of the structure that you are building, that you're living in. So that will mean less in ways of trying to cool it in the summertime. Now, I don't use AC. I don't. I just sweat. I sweat it out. So I've not done too much worrying about how to cool the house, because I'm just fine with being warm. I don't like artificial air. I get cold and then I need to put on a jacket, and I just think that's superfluous. But anyway, so I was thinking about just the materials that we're using and the items that I have, just if all objects are emitting infrared radiation, obviously if global warming is a thing, if I have a lot of things, I have more things that can heat up and more things that can transfer heat to other things, the air, and the air doesn't need more heating, it needs less heating, because obviously that's global warming. We don't need more heat in the air. We need the heat to escape. We need the rays to escape. So it kind of led me to minimalism. The more items we have, the more potential there is for heat to be captured by the objects and to be transferred by the objects into the air. More heat that we obviously don't need. So it got me thinking about what we use as resources in our houses. Obviously reduce the amount of things that you need, but for what you do need, it might make sense to look towards materials that hold less heat, that transfer less heat, and so like natural things, like natural organic products that are maybe light in color, cottons, woods, things that are probably better for the planet anyway, that will, biodegrade in the landfill, that a lot of these natural things don't have a lot of heat transfer associated with them. Plastic actually doesn't have a lot of heat transfer, um, but tarmac, metals, and things like that. So maybe if we swap to a more natural lifestyle, that would help. So it kind of got me thinking about how we could do that in buildings as well, what we could change. I started looking at post-consumer plastics as a building option. They do have obviously like vinyls and PP plastic siding, which some reviews say are ace, and some reviews say they melt in the sun. But uh, but then that was addressed in the one that says that they're ace. It says no, they don't. So, so mixed reviews on the quality of those. But I've been looking at the post-consumer plastics, like the large sheets, and it looks like you can use those for a decent number of things. If you do want to, that is a recycled option. Obviously, wood is also an option too, but wood also has its own associated problems. But anyway, so just things to kind of think of moving forward if we do want to combat climate change.